So, man, what's the deal? Welcome to Stand on the Media. Salute to my Stand on the Media family out there. Salute. Happy Thursday to everybody, man. I hope everybody had a great weekend and an even better weekend to come. If you are new to this channel, man, much appreciated. Do me a favor, though. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment in this video. Please share the video. Hit that notification bell. You will be notified when we drop these videos. So look, man, we gonna get right to the content, man. Salute to young and Jefe. Don't care about number, what the check say. You hear me? Y'all hear me? Salute to that brother, man. Salute to Du Sims and Yael from Damu Keyway Conversation, the home team. Salute to them brothers too. Dose of Reality TV, Scandalous Los Angeles TV, and everybody else in our universe that we rock with each other. We all network with one another. And young and Jefe, right? He came across my desk a while ago and blew me away because I like his perspective on things, man. I like the way he break things. I like the raw authenticness in him when he is doing his videos, and that's what I resonate with. You know what I mean? So I'm a huge fan and supporter. This ain't about beating him up because I'm cool with Du Sims and Yael. I can agree with a lot of what Du Sims and Yael was saying in their video, but I also agree with a lot of things that young and Jefe was saying in his video. At the end of the day, we all can have our opinions about things and our perspectives, and if it doesn't align, it doesn't align. But we don't have to beat each other up with words and be disrespectful. And I'm not saying that neither one of these gentlemen are scared to say it to each other, because it's not about that. See, that's ego. When we let that ego come into play, this is what happens. It blows up something that could be a potential cohesive unit to defend against this effery, because I can't cuss right now because of monetization purposes, but something to defend this effery that's going on right before our eyes with social media, with the hip hop police, with these informants that are infested in our communities. See, we need to police the police. You understand? And we can't do that if we beating each other up because we don't agree with one another. But that's just my take on it. Salute to both brothers and both teams. I want to see everybody win, and I stand on that. Stand on the media. But look, I think Jefe, young and sorry brothers, young, it's a lot. Your name is a lot, brother. I love it though, but it's a lot. But I think young Aunt Jefe doesn't have all the facts. He's not privy, even though it's out there. He's not privy to all the facts because there's a lot out there. So I'm not going to try to come to the defense of Du Sims, right? Because Du Sims does a great job doing that himself. What I will say is from my experience of looking on the sidelines at this and participating here and there, what started this was Wack calling him a snitch when it wasn't true. At least they ain't showed nothing to show that, and we talking 2-3 years in now. So in return, that put the flashlight on Wack from Du Sims, and Du Sims started to uncover things. From my understanding, young and Jefe, if this does come across your desk, no, Wack wasn't a snitch on the Main Street case. He wasn't an informant on the Main Street case. I think that's where the misunderstanding is coming from. No, he was not. Unless there's something that they ain't tell us about. But you got to understand, young NFA, if you're talking to somebody that's been in, let's just say hypothetically, everything hypothetical here anyway, right? But let's say hypothetically speaking, Wack is an informant, and let's say he's been informing for years, since 1944 Don Julio. I mean, back when in the Suge Knight days, right? Let's just say hypothetically speaking that Wack was the one who gave up Poochie, right? Because he got caught on federal wiretap committing kidnap and maybe robbery and murder. That's because that's what happened in the Stutterbox. Allegedly, he was caught on wiretap giving Dale Dog and them, or trying to give Dale Dog Stutterbox address because they was gonna do something to him because of the tape. The Shaquille O'Neal tape. And salute to Shaq, man. I know Shaq is like, God damn, man, well, this man already exposed himself already, so this story don't keep being retold over and over. I really feel bad for them, man, because it's like they got to keep reliving this because of this dude. But anyway, he gets caught on wiretap, right? And, you know, they didn't want to expose that informant because they was using that informant for the Tupac case, for Suge Knight, to try to get dirt on Suge Knight, to get Suge Knight to flip. All this hypothetical now, right? So what I'm saying to you is, if all that was going on and he evaded being CS2 back and people knowing about it, what you think his energy is going to be now? Like, he's not going to come out and say I'm CS2 back, and the people around him are not going to come out and say that he CS2 back, except one, and that one is Reggie Wright Jr. And later on in this video, and Jefe, I'm saying it right, young and Jefe. Later on in this video, I will play that clip for you where you're gonna hear Reggie Wright. You're gonna hear him out of his own mouth, indicate, insinuate that Wack 100 is an informant, and how it became, how he started to look at him as an informant. What made him look at him that way? That put him on the radar. You'll hear all that, right? But I'm gonna play a few clips throughout this so you can understand at least where I'm coming from with this, and then I encourage you to do your own research to really look into this, young NFA, because. But I'm telling you, he's an informant, and 600 is too. And I want to see you win, and I don't want to see you get caught up in this web of things. So I really hope that you do your research and move careful with that over there. You know what I'm saying? But to each his own, man. Everybody got to do what everybody gonna do what everybody gonna do. We all grown adults. You know what I mean? But I want to react to this content to try to give my perspective on what is going on here and what went on with Wack in the CS2 back mess. So sit back, man, relax. We're going to listen to young Aunt Jefe explain why he now believes that Wack 100 wasn't an informant, which technically that's correct on the Main Street case. But we also going to hear why Wack is still an informant that was caught in that case. All right, so let's get to the content, man. Salute to y'all, man. Sit back, relax, let's rock. Stand on the media, let's get it.
These are street guys, but that ain't never been my element nor thing. You know what I'm saying? And it has nothing to do with how you view me, or, you know what I'm saying, something somebody said to me. That's just me standing on integrity. You know what I'm saying? And if it ain't integrity for you, I'm gonna just say my integrity then. Now, with that being said, I've spun a lot of content pertaining to Wack, because Wack name comes up a lot, you know what I'm saying? But in me commentating, you know what I'm saying, y'all know, to the Day One fans, you know what I'm saying, I try to keep it respectful, you feel me? And or not touch it all together, you know what I'm saying? Unless it's just write out something that's like, oh, snitch, you know what I'm saying, molestation, like some crazy stuff, then it's just like no holds bar. I don't care what you talking about, you know what I'm saying? We gonna throw everything at you. So, as I was saying, I've spun a lot of content. You probably can comb through my content and see Wack name quite a few times, you feel me? Or whatever, you know what I'm saying? From his name coming up and things going on and controversy, you know what I'm saying? Like, my boy 600 and Wack, they like to divvy upon them lines of controversy, you know what I'm saying? Controversy, because it sells, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, y'all know I had just spun some content with Wack name attached to it, you know what I'm saying paperwork and wiretaps and stuff like that, because I had watched Active Chuck's, you know what I'm saying, Deuce M's channel. Don't know Deuce M's, never met Deuce M's. The content was sent to me by way of one of my YouTube supporters that was like, hey, something you might want to look at. So, I went ahead and looked at it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, okay, they murdered stuff, paperwork. I remember the situation. I'm very familiar with the situation. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people that was involved in this situation, grew up with these people. So when I see what's going on, I commentate on it. Y'all heard the commentation, but I guess in me commentating, some things were took out of order, in or out of context, by Wack 100 in this guy's Stutterbox, and I was called a bozo. So you know we gonna commentate. So let's get into this content. And y'all already know it's the halfway and the half effect. We gonna commentate.
Jeff,
Yeah.
right? Jeffrey Brody was my attorney here. So he wrote up everything and he was sent it there. And then he was a top attorney in that area. So that was like our face. But I trusted it because everything he was doing was by Brody's direction. So,
Gotcha.
so the whole time all we had was one defense, illegal search procedures.
Let me tell you why this right here is nasty work real quick. Because you see Reggie Wright sitting there. He's hosting this interview or whatever the hell this thing is, right? And Wack is telling this story, and Reggie know for a fact this man is a liar. He knows this man is CS2 back. He's the one who really brought it to light, even though we had already been on top of it. But he's the one who brought it on home because remember he got in his feelings when Wack tried to bail out Jefe D. So he retaliated. Matter of fact, we're going to play that clip right now, then we get back to the content. And Young and Jefe, if you're listening, this is part one of the clips I'm talking about. Listen to this.
Welcome back to Scandalous Los Angeles TV, where we expose the exposers. CS2 back wants us to forget y'all. He wants us to forget the fact that he was forced to bow it down and kiss the ring of Reggie Wright. Reggie just told the world that CS2 back and Stutterbox were the only ones whose names were changed in Greg Kading's movie.
Because he changed it in the movie, he told you that the movie was just the Hollywood effect. They do what they do to sell, what you call it? Okay, let me just tell you this. Just notice. I won't say it again. There's only two people's names will change. Reggie Wright name wouldn't change. Right.
He also told us that after he saw that, he began to believe that Porky was an informant. Reggie felt so strongly about Porky being a rat, he went to Greg Kading himself and asked if CS2 back ever worked as an informant for him. This was CS2 back's worst nightmare. In this episode,
That's nasty work. And now fast forward. Do I got that on my board? Oh, that's the rewind button. We're going to rewind it. Remix. Now we're here. And he's hosting them on Bound First, telling this story that he know is cap. You know why? Because they know a lot of dirty little secrets about each other. Let's go.
Trump, right? I fought that case for 6 years. Now, Reggie, a lot of these dudes who really ain't fought cases and really been in this system, if you Google
He think we stupid.
the definition of Texas law, when dismissed in the interest of justice, it tells you only one person could exercise this.
Yeah.
The judge.
The judge. Yeah.
Okay, so Reggie, although the judge struck down the first motion, it didn't stop Brody from refouling, right? Challenging their strike and steadily shoving it down their throat.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God, stop fucking lying.
So you know what the judge did? The judge ain't stupid. If you got an arrested officer, right? Let's say he got 10 arrests where people been sent to the penitentiary, right? And the judge know that what he's looking at, that if it gets to a court higher than him, it'll fuck around and be granted. Because the thing is, how did you get to the trunk? Right?
Yeah, legal search. Yeah.
Nobody's on no parole, probation.
Yeah.
The fucking drug dog never.
Yeah, you don't smell weed or no alcohol.
And
There's no reason.
dumbass bozo. I ain't never disrespected you. But me and Box, and I talked to Box when he calls me. Box called me this morning. He said, what is Aunt Hefe bozo ass talking about? Talking about you got my Rolls Royce shot up. Wack, my Rolls Royce was already shot up and gone before I even start fucking with you.
Well, that's interesting that you said you just talked to Stutterbox and Stutterbox told you that. Because I remember something else Stutterbox said. You know what? Let's just this button works for this. Right. This is the perfect time for that. Let's go.
Man, what's up with it, man? You know, I've been wanting to check something.
Okay.
But
let's get to it.
Always got to be thinking, man.
That's a fact.
Before you open your mouth.
That's a fact.
Especially if you really thinking about moving, you feel me? It should be silence and violence.
I agree with you there.
You know, I want to speak on this dude keep kicking my name. I told this nigga I'm gonna drown his ass, homie. On Main Street. I'm gonna drown, cuz.
I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
Let me tell you how I meet this clown, man.
Get it off your chest,
all in my paperwork, man. The nigga say box. The nigga Suge won't put me on, homie. I've been fucking with this dude for a couple years. I said, all right, homie. Since you my neighbor, I'ma fuck with you. The nigga begged me to put him with game. Begged me to put him with Chuck. Holla at Chuck for me, box. Holla at Reggie for me, box. They both told me 6 times, no, no, no. So I say, homie, they don't want to fuck with you. Box, they'll do it for you if you tell them to do it for you. Okay, homie. Chuck, do it for me, man. And if cuz fuck up, I come over there and move cuz out your camp myself. Chuck said, box, you got me? I said, cuz I got you. Changed cuz life, man. He ain't looked back. In the meantime, I'm going through some politicking with my neighborhood. You know, not finna kick no names.
I'm just gonna
Rest in peace to the G, homie. You ain't saved no homies, homie. You ain't changed my daughter diaper. My son don't call you. He just took a deal for 11 years. He on his way home. Don't nobody respect you. You are J. Edgar Hoover, nigga. You know, in trans, nigga. Police. What really fucked me up is why I decided to let this buster ass nigga know I know what he did, right?
Wake it up.
The nigga called me one day and say, box, I'm out in my truck. Where you at? I said, I'm at home, homie. He say, they own my wife at the mall. Look out for me. I grabbed the blicky, smash up there. I see his wife coming out the driveway. I see some dudes. They most likely probably trying to holler at her. I don't know, right? But they disrespecting her movements. So I get them up off of them. I ain't gonna say what I did, but I got the niggas up off of them.
That's right.
Up off of her.
Keep my mouth shut.
Fast forward, I get to some gangster shit. Nigga almost killed me and my baby mama. Put like 20 holes in my Rolls Royce. See, but where I'm from, niggas beef, 3, 4 niggas, 5 niggas get killed, and niggas squash it. This old buster ass nigga from the valley, since hanging around me, he know a few people I know. He trying to reach out to the nigga behind my back to give the nigga my address, cause we stay across the street from each other, like catty corner. This damn near 20 years ago though. This nigga keep kicking my name, infatuated, but he's a homosexual after 20 years. Wack, you know I'ma drown your ass on Main Street. I'ma drown your ass. First chance I get. I can see how, no disrespect to Nip, cuz, but I can see how a drown a nigga, then turn back and kick him in their motherfucking face on Main Street. But anyway, I call Wack. My Rolls Royce gets shot up. My girl almost get killed. I lay on top of her. We make it up out of there. Wack see the bullet holes in my car the next day. He reaching out, trying to contact the nigga who supposed to be the boogeyman. I know where the nigga live at, behind my back. It's in the paperwork. All on wiretap. That's why your house got raided, you bitch ass nigga. You conspiracy to commit murder, nigga. You buster ass nigga. But let me tell you how it play out. I call cuz, It's 3 niggas sitting in front of your house, cuz. Is these your homies, Wack? Oh, no, Box. I don't know who that is. I jet flew out the house with the fully. Then niggas probably almost shot each other trying to pull off. You feel me? Almost shot each other. If I know what I knew now, I would have jumped over their car, cuz, ran across the lawn, kicked in Wack door, and killed cuz on Main Street, on Mafia. You's a buster, nigga. You the police. You got the homie. You know, every real nigga that came into your life, me first, you crossed me. Big U second, you crossed him. Wacko, you crossed him. You talk about Game behind his back. You talk about Lil John behind his back. You talk about Reggie. You's a bitch, nigga.
I'll just leave that there. So yeah, young and Jefe, you see, it's a little different when Wack tell the story, right? But we both understand why, you know. That's something he gotta take to the grave. Just imagine if the world knew that he's CS2 back. He's an informant. Ain't nobody rocking with dude no more. That money already done shrunk from the work that Dude Sims is doing. Just imagine if it was on a wide scale. See, that's why he called you the bozo and the this and the that, and I had the 600 call you. Because he can't afford that to get out there, because the walls is already closing in on him with this big U case, because his fingers is all over it. What if I told you he was the one who orchestrated all of that from start to finish? The truth is out there, brother. You just gotta look and listen. What I'm telling you, you got to be more careful. In the words of Big U, what he told 600, it always resonates to me to this day. You got to choose your friends much more carefully. Remember when he told him in that backyard? I think this is what he means. But let's go. Oh, then they hit us with a bruh. It's words on the screen right now. That's why it's silent.
Okay. Y'all seen it with y'all eyes. Y'all heard it with y'all ears. So, as y'all gonna furthermore figure out, everything gonna get broke down. So, Wack did that interview right there with Reggie White Jr. You know what I'm saying? Don't know Reggie White Jr. People have been telling me who watched the interview, hey man, you know Wack got at you, bro. Wack said you a bozo, bro. You know what I'm saying? Wack don't know what's up. He could, all this and that. You know, people that know you, they like, man, what is this dude talking about? So I'm like, huh? I'm like, yeah, I don't know nothing about that. They like, yeah, about you doing that reaction. Wack responded back on the Bomb First interview and said that you a bozo. So I'm like, what? So I'm like, man, well, send me the interview, because I didn't want to go looking for it. You feel me? I just would have felt kind of womanish, and like even though it was something about me, it wasn't like it was something detrimental. Like, oh yeah, you about to go to jail. This might about to be some information you want to find out, type of thing. So just hearing that he said that, I'm like, man, well, whoever, you know what I'm saying, being that you delivering this message to me, send me the content. The content got sent to me. I had to watch through, because didn't nobody send me the actual, like, oh yeah, it's from here to here. So I had to watch through the content, I listened through until it got to me. As y'all heard it right there, Wack get to talking about his case. So as y'all know, he had a case out there in Texas or whatnot. He was stopped. Amongst him getting stopped, they called the dogs out there to the scene. He was apprehended. They found some weapons. You know what I'm saying? He go down, bail out of jail. From there, down the line, the case get throughout, you know what I'm saying, because it's a term that I had never heard before in the interest of justice. So, a lot of people, I ain't never heard this term, you know what I'm saying? And
I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
Bruce M's segment, it was merged together pretty good, how they put it together and explaining everything to her, where it'll make Wack 100, you know what I'm saying, look like he's all bad. So, I'm commentating on this situation and I'm giving my opinion. And I guess I set some things off that may have poked Wack or that he didn't like. So, furthermore, he say, Stutterbox from...
This is what I will question, though, young and Jefe. And I mean this with no disrespect. Now, I don't agree with neither one of them with the name calling, right? I understand your plight with that. I wouldn't appreciate that either, especially us being men. And it's just, for me, giving my perspective or my opinion, that shouldn't warrant someone to just berate me like that, right? At least let's have a conversation about it. So I agree with you, but I am a little, I'm, I feel I'm questioning, right? Like, do you mean that? Is that across the board, or is that just depending on who that particular person is? Because Wack called you all type of bozos and he disrespected you in his audio, but I just see that your response to him is a lot more milder and tempered than it was when Do Sims and them did it, because that's what made me want to react to this video, was your response to Do Sims. And then I remember listening to your response to Wack, and I'm saying, well, I didn't hear all that aggressiveness, when you address Wack like you did Do Sims. So that do make me question, bro, if I'm being real. And I'm not even gonna make a joke about it, because this ain't, to me, ain't a joking matter. I think we're stronger together than we are apart, and that's just the bottom line. But everybody got their own way of doing stuff, and may not. They may want to stay and do their own thing and not be a part of it. Whatever, people motives are, whatever your true intentions are. At least for me, I think we all better and stronger together in this space, especially when I've been saying it, that we under attack. Like, we need to wake up and understand that we really under attack in this space. Our people is under attack. So whether if it's directly or indirectly, if we really for our people, and our people is under attack, therefore it means we are under attack. But we got to figure a way around going at each other the way that we do in these spaces when we don't agree. But if you are going to do it, then you should be consistent with it. I should see the same energy towards Wack that I seen towards Do Sims, is what I'm essentially saying. That just, I thought was odd. But let's get back to it.
Main Street calls him, and like, what this bozo young Aunt Jefe talking about? My car been shot up. He's speaking about stuff he don't know. First and foremost, let's address this right here. Stutter box. Bro, besides you being out of the main streets, bro, you don't have a presence in this street that is feared or known to be gangster. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You have the accolades and getting money and, other things I can name that says associate with you, bro. But look, our character side by side, bro, and if we weight this on them Libra scales, bro, you the bozo. By what the streets say and by what we signed on this dotted line to say the do's and don'ts of what we don't do, you and fell victim to the pressures of the streets. I haven't, and I've been under these same pressures, and it did time and time again. So you the bozo for real, and I could really get disrespectful, but I'm not gonna be this internet dude and get disrespectful, dude. I'm a dude you've been on the phone with, bro, that you've been on the FaceTime with. I don't know if you're doing drugs or you getting too high, you snorting that scooty, or what's going on, bro. But hey, stop playing, bro. You know what I'm saying? You a bozo, bro. Like, stop playing with me, bro. Like, you like, bro, come on, bro. Like, I ain't even one of them dudes to expose my hand, bro, because I know a lot. But we gonna cut that there. But you the bozo, if anybody, bro. You know what I'm saying? Cut it with the name card, and you ain't in no position to name call nothing. You know what I'm saying? On everything. For sure, bro. You're not. Let's not go there, sir. So, back to Wack 100. I see that.
Looking to skyrocket your YouTube channel? Let Sprizzy boost you to the top. Using YouTube ads, Sprizzy targets viewers who are most likely to enjoy your content and subscribe to your channel.
I see that. I'm like, I ain't gonna lie, it kind of irritated me. So, man, I'm like, bozo. Then furthermore, during the interview, he like, oh yeah, he ain't gonna sit right here and say this. And so I'm like, man, he got the wrong dude who ain't gonna pull up and ain't gonna, oh yeah. So I go on my hunt and trying to, you know what I'm saying, locate a number on him, or, you know what I'm saying, set it up to where we can pull up.
Like they did, they play like they that, but this 2025. We talking about 20, 25 years ago when shit's going on, right? So let's get back to Texas. So you know what the judge did? He knows this nigga been sat here 6 years. He ain't ran out of money. Most of the times niggas run out of money. I'm on parole, bail, where I gotta call in every Thursday. So the judge comes in and says, I'm gonna dismiss this in the interest of justice, right? My file is open. If you Google Texas interest of justice, Reg, you should have our guy Google it. Your guy that works with you. Google, John, Google the definition of a dismissal under Texas law interest of justice. And it's gonna tell you when the judge may deem that the evidence is a little shabby or this or that, the judge can step in and say, we're just gonna let the whole case go.
Yeah, and the most important thing, y'all gotta understand, Wack allegedly went out there because his brother had just got killed the day before. So, and the guy that allegedly did this was found now guilty. If Wack was working with him, and this is me just talking, I never said this to Wack before. Yeah. If Wack was working with him like these people want to try to indicate he was doing, trust me, that nigga would have got found guilty.
Well, first of all, I was going out there to pick my mother up.
Okay.
But she don't like to fly. Second of all, Aunt Jefe talking about 2 California niggas on the freeway. Hey, dummy, I'm 40 miles from Oklahoma border. My license is Oklahoma.
Oh, in Oklahoma at the time.
That wasn't a red flag, stupid. Like, I don't know where you come from. You just be talking, but you sound dumb as a motherfucker. And you would never do a one-on-one like this with me because I'll make you look dumb as fuck. This nigga saying, watch this. Now, this is what's crazy. I gave up the main streets to beat the Texas case. Now, this is where he's an idiot at. We all know and brought the case on his homies, right?
Chatterbox went in the police station at 3 a.m. in the morning and called and woke up somebody that I deal with from the house at 77th Division. So he need to stop that, all beat up.
We gonna get our box.
Okay.
Yeah, we know you gonna get all boxed because you don't want to wake that giant up again. Do I need to play the clip again of what Box just earlier said? See, that's what made Box go in on you in the first place. In the first place, that's what made him reach out to do Sims and Yael in the first place, because you out here lying and misrepresentation of what really happened. Yeah. Why did they move you next to him? What was that all about? See, young Aunt Jefe, next time you have a conversation with him, I'm gonna play a few things for you. And I want you to ask him about these things, right? And he's going to wiggle his way through them like he did with the interest of justice. But if you look up the interest of justice as an informant, what does that mean? Then you will get the explanation that you're looking for. It explains it in better detail of what he really is. You see, Wack just lies, he bends things, what he did was he built this ecosystem of people around him that will make sure he is, what did he call it, the walls of Troy, where you can't penetrate it with asking him the real questions or calling him on his flagrant ass lies, because he has a wall of people who are minions who gonna sit there and just mute you, kick you out the room, yell at you, cuss you, the whole thing. That should tell you that he's hiding something. And young Aunt Jefe, how many real people you know out there, right? That's really from them streets. And I'm being serious, but keep it to yourself because they listening. How many real people you know out there that's from the hood that just got the police on speed dial like this? He just can call Reggie Wright, bring him in to clear his name. Greg Kading, hey, I'm gonna need you to come to Clubhouse. Can you do that for me? Absolutely. How many real gangsters you know that just got the police on the hip like that? Not too many. But again, I don't want you to take my word for it, or Do Sims and Yael, nor do I definitely don't want you to take their word for it. I just want you to just dig a little bit more. Just dig a little bit more. You'll find what you're looking for. You'll see he's just a liar. But look, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play Greg Kading's trying to lie for him, but then at the end of it, have to admit that indeed who Mark Stevens was talking to on that phone was Wack 100. And in the paperwork, it says Wack 100 is CS2 back. Undeniable. Let's get it. Why is it not playing? Hold on. I think I got it plugged in. Let me see. Oh, I know why. I'm telling y'all, man. I ate all there. The brain is still a little foggy, but I'm gonna get there. But here we go.
Back, BACK, and
Right.
I kept asking the lawyer, like, who the fuck is? I ain't talked to no Back, and they said, nah, that's Wack, but they put him at Back because he a blood, so it's Back. And I said, oh, okay.
And was this Back also referred as confidential source number 2?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so no offense to Mark, he doesn't know any better.
That's what it is, young NFL.
But when we're writing official police reports, we don't play the game. We don't change language or change spelling because we are, part of the gang culture. We're not going to put Wack. We're going to put Back because he's a blood, not a Crip, and we don't. That's not how we operate. We don't. That's gang shit. We don't write as gangsters. We write as police officers and try to be as specific as possible.
Greg is saying they try to be as specific as possible, and that they don't do things like that. But we're all looking at a wiretap transcript where they did exactly that. They put a person named Back in the paperwork, and no one knows who Back is.
We don't change things in order to... So if Mark Stevens is thinking that, oh man, the cops just put this in there this way because he's a blood and not a Crip, it's not how it works.
I hear you, Greg. But even without them doing that, the conversation with Mark Stevens and Del Dog did actually take place. And Mark Stevens is saying the person who called him looking for Del Dog's phone number was Wack. Mark said he doesn't know anyone named Back. So why would they put some fake person that Mark has never ever talked to in the transcripts?
No, I get that. See, we are totally in agreement. The conversation is Wack, obviously. The conversation is Wack, obviously. But this explanation of Wack being Back, there's nothing to substantiate that other than...
Now I'm gonna pause right here because I want to make sure you guys didn't miss what just happened. I told Greg that Mark Stevens said he doesn't know anyone named Back. So I asked Greg why would they put somebody in the paperwork that Mark Stevens doesn't know and has never ever spoken to in his life. I'm gonna play it again so you can hear how he evades my question. I hear you, Greg, but even without them doing that, the conversation with Mark Stevens and Del Dog did actually take place, and Mark Stevens is saying the person who called him looking for Del Dog's phone number was Wack. Mark said he doesn't know anyone named Back. So why would they put some fake person that Mark has never ever talked to in the transcripts?
No, I get that. See, we are totally in agreement. The conversation is Wack, obviously. The conversation is Wack, obviously. But this explanation of Wack being Back, there's nothing to substantiate that other than a misunderstanding of how the police write reports or a misunderstanding of a lawyer. Because I'm telling you, and I don't know how much more I can emphasize this, Cash Jones was not an informant on the Main Street case.
I'm with you on that. But you're agreeing that in the transcripts we have, it's Wack that Mark and Dell are talking about in the conversation they're having, right?
Yes. And I think Wack admits that. And I think
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He has to now, but no, he doesn't. And even now, he's still spinning it. You see, young NFA, you can't trust these pigs, man. They'll lie right to you, bro.
Wack admits that. But this whole thing with Wack, it would have just been CS2, typically just left alone, CS2, because the investigators all know who CS2 is.
But in a wiretap, aren't they supposed to type exactly what they hear the person say?
But that's not what you're reading. You're not reading.
Look, I'm getting mad.
Pardon me, I'm getting
frustrated.
The conversation is there. You can see the conversation, right?
Right. And they're using his name as they're talking. The boy back wants your phone number. The person who transcribed the wiretap is typing that Mark is saying back. But Mark is saying that he was not saying back. He was saying Wack. And you already agreed that these guys are talking about Wack right here, but it's just using the name back until the last paragraph. In the last paragraph, Mark Stevens actually says the Wack boy.
Okay, so he's talking about Wack. There is no back. There is no back. That's all I can tell you.
So there you have it. Greg Kading says Del Dog and Mark Stevens are talking about Wack in the wiretap transcripts, and at the same time he is saying Wack isn't back. He said there is no back. When I asked him why would they put the name of some fake person in the paperwork, who Mark Stevens didn't know, he didn't answer me. Hey, somebody hit Compton Rick Rock up and tell him that he should remix that Ain't No Bumpton joint. Tell him to name the remix Ain't No Back. Because Greg Kading said there's no back. If Greg is saying there is no back, but the conversation being had in the wiretap is about Wack, then this shouldn't read CS2 back. It should actually say CS2 Wack. Let me know.
Salute the Scandalous Los Angeles TV, the GOAT. See, young NFA, what you just heard right there is Greg Kading's having to admit, submit it, and I gotta say, they should have had him. They should have had your Scandalous Los Angeles TV when they was doing the Tupac investigation. When they talked to Greg Kading, because Greg Kading was arrogant, is cocky back then, and they couldn't pin him down on the ropes, but Scandalous just pinned him down and did it effortlessly. You see? He couldn't, it's only so much lying you can do, man, before you just got to say, well, yeah, now go prove it to the world. Yep, you got me, but go prove it to the world. Now back to what's important. I encourage you to do your research on this, young Jefe, right? And follow the breadcrumbs wherever they may lead you. I don't personally think, as of right now, that you are compromised. I think that Wack just was in them, they're very clever with the wordplay and confusion. That's what he's a master at it. When he says, Wack said he wasn't arrested on that case, but we already have an officer who said the only person that was arrested on the Main Street case was Cash Jones. See, Greg Kading had to go in there and testify that Stutterbox was an informant because he perjured himself, but he did that. He didn't do it because he perjured himself. He would have probably let it fly if he didn't have to do that. He had to do that because if he didn't do that, they would have had to expose their secret weapon. The dude who been snitching since 1944, Don Julio. Wack 100. That's a fact. So he blew that case up to protect Wack. And Wack did him a solid. That's why he say the feds said they owe him a favor. because Wack did him a solid by corroborating his story that Poochie was the one who killed Biggie and not the police. It was Poochie. Wack gave up Poochie. That's a fact. Even Stutterbox tells you that. So I just want to say, man, because it's a lot more to young and Jefe video. I don't want to take all this content, man, with respect, to the subject matter. I just wanted to make my point, but I will put a link to this video in the description so y'all can go and really listen to it. But there was one more piece that I really did want to play also, right? And then we'll close. And what I'm going to play, Young and Jefe, is Mark Stevens and Mark Stevens' words of what really took place. And I just want to remind you that this is a sports agent who is probably worth millions of dollars, made millions of dollars. Shaquille O'Neal's cousins, he's way up there. He does not need to come down here and spend lies and narratives on someone for what? What would be the reason for doing that? The reason for him doing what he did with Deuce Sims and Yael, because he's seen all that disrespect that Wack was doing and giving to Big U throughout the years. Unwarranted, calling him a snitch, a rat, saying he was this, he was that. And by the way, I just want to point out, has anybody yet to show where Big U was a snitch at? Because we can't keep letting these niggas move the goalposts. First it was with developing options. He was snitching with the grid program. He was snitching with the grid program. He was writing the serial numbers down. He was doing this and doing that. Come to find out in the paperwork, one of the main reasons they probably wanted to get him up out of there is because he wouldn't cooperate. Meaning he would not snitch. So when they keep saying that the man is a snitch and he's a rat, have you shown me anything where that is true? If you haven't, then stop putting that jacket on that man until it's proven. And it don't have to be no paperwork. Show me a direct conversation. Anything that shows that Big U must have went out there and did some telling. You can't. You just show me speculation. But when it comes to Cash Jones, I mean, I can even show you the paperwork, but even that, he has a clever way of dancing around, but you can't dance around what Greg Kading said, what Reggie Wright said, and what Mark Stevens said, and what Stutterbox said. They all saying the same thing. How do you dance around that? Let's listen to Mark Stevens, though.
Why is so much money spent on it and no results?
There is a solution.
I don't know, Joe.
There's a company.
Tell us. Let's go.
They're about 67.
Okay. So, where we was at. Okay. So, at some point, you get a phone call from Wack 100, Cash Jones. And when he contact you, what did he contact you concerning?
He wanted to reach out to Del Dog, rest in peace. And he wanted to give Del Dog some information that he had gotten from Stutterbox, right? It's like he was getting information from Stutterbox on what his plan was and what the get down was gonna be. And he wanted to talk to the homie and talk to him. And Dog wasn't getting on the line with him. And he kept blowing me up because he wanted me to get him on the line.
Right, smart man. Rest in peace to Del Dog, man. So he's talking about the phones is being compromised. Is that one of the things that he told you?
Well, the homie Del Dog never trusted dude. You follow me?
Right.
So Dog didn't know was the lines compromised or was they wired up for sound or not. He just wasn't going to chance it. You follow me?
Right.
But it was later on. It was later on after they took the case to they was taking it all away because the homie ain't had no choice. You know, he was facing a life sentence, so he had to take it all away. And with all the lawyers that was involved, they was able to get the discovery, and that's when we found out that the lines was compromised.
And as soon when you get the discovery, was part of that the actual wiretaps that
the whole transcript. I got the whole transcripts. The whole transcripts of the whole wiretaps.
And do you, in that paperwork, do you see your conversation with Cass Jones in them transcripts?
That was the initiating. That was the initiating when they started recording.
Right. And how did they refer to Cass Jones?
In the paperwork, they put him as Back, B-A-C-K. And
correct.
I kept asking the lawyer, like, who the fuck is? I ain't talked to no Back. And they said, nah, that's Wack. But they put him as Back because he a blood. So it's Back. And I said, oh, okay.
And was this Back also referred as confidential source number 2?
Yes, sir.
Correct. Well, man, I'm glad that the truth was able to come out. And it's sad.
But bigger than that, homie, right? You know, I watched dude, man. He said some things about the big homie Shaq, you know, that wasn't true. He said some things like he been trying to destroy the big homie Big U name, and I'm seeing and watching this. And I called the big homie U. We was talking. I said, yo, when you get into Atlanta, man, come see me. Because I had what I had for years. And when I gave it to the homie, I said, man, you read it. Because it was a big-ass textbook of shit. And the homie just sided with what was right. He said, I can't fuck with dude no more. And that was the end of that.
Until...
Boom. You know what I think? I think we need to get that paperwork. I think we need to get the Mark Stevens paperwork with the transcripts and stuff and all in it. And let's have a paperwork party. Let's all get this paperwork. Get all the key factors, all the key pieces that were involved, and go through it with a fine-tooth comb, just like Do Sims and Yael and them did, and let's see the conclusions that we come to. I'll be just doing it just for the hell of it because I've already been through this shit. And I know what is it. I know what's what, you know? But there is people out there that's going to question because Wack is really good at what he do. He's really good at lying and spinning and all that. So I don't fault some people, you know? So that's why at the end of the day, and I'm going to close with this. Salute the young and Jefe. Salute to Do Sims, Yael, Damu, Kiwe Conversations. Salute to everybody that's in this space that is standing on what's right, right? Who is not, I'm choosing the side. The side I choose is the righteous side. I choose the side where we shouldn't have to be intimidated and set up or lined up by our own people to get time cut off from what something your dumb ass did, you know, and then you got to continue to keep working in order to not get locked up for shit that you still doing. See, none of that is cool. None of that is okay. What happened to Big U was not okay. Say what you want to say about Big U, but if you don't have firsthand information about anything that he being accused and alleged on, then I think you should keep your mouth shut and wait and let this thing play out. Because I'm just gonna be real. I ain't heard nothing like what they trying to allege Big U was out there doing, but some of the things that he was doing, I definitely understand. And how dare some of us act naive to the fact that he's standing up for his neighborhood and making sure people don't come to his neighborhood and use the success and the gems that neighborhood has developed and you know and enriching themselves off of using the sweat and blood and tears of the people who built that community just because they have a celebrity name or a celebrity base. You know, everything's not black and white. Everything's not cut and dry. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that Big U might have made sure the people came through and did the right thing by that neighborhood, which I think we all need to do, or we all been doing, really, depending on who your neighborhood is and where they stand. But I think, you know, they put a lot of 2 on the 10 on some of these things that they said Big U is doing. And that's just my opinion, but I really believe that because outside of this, I wasn't hearing nothing like that. I was hearing more positive than all this negative that I'm hearing. But he's innocent until proven guilty. And until he gets a chance to present his side of the story, I reserve judgment to just jump down and just throw everything that's in this indictment on him as if that's what he did. Man, we know how these people gonna lie and put 2 on the 10, so how dare we jump out the window and just condemn that man guilty like that? It's crazy. It's crazy. There's a lot of people that's saying a lot of things that I know that they wouldn't say to that man's face. But because they have a little platform and people to listen, and they got a little liquid courage or whatever courage that they use, and they popping it. Yeah, they really popping it. But just know it's fine. We know a sucker when we hear him. We know a sucker when we hear him. You know, it's cool. Do you? You know. But if things flip, that ain't gonna age well. We're gonna make sure that you be reminded of the things that you said and some of the things that you did in the event that things flip in this case. Because I definitely think Big U has a shot, because this thing was a setup, an orchestrated setup, a whole lot of lying, a whole lot of manipulating, a whole lot of grimy, unethical tactics used to get him in custody. And I think with the right team on his side and the support of the community, they may be talking a different thing when it comes down to it. But salute to young NFA again, man. I rock with you. I support your page, bro. This is just my take on the content and what happened, but I also care. You know what I'm saying? I care that we attempt to get along and get an understanding of what's going on. I don't think the name calling and all that is necessary. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. These grown men, they gonna do what these grown men gonna do. That's a fact. But I gotta be me, right? I gotta be me, and who I am as a person, whether online, in real life, when you meet me outside or not, I am who I am, and I'm not a person that just goes out of his way and just disrespects, because I understand. I didn't had homies and people in the family that done got killed or lost their life, or something really bad happened to them over some words and misunderstanding. So, you know, it hit a little different for me. You know what I'm saying? And then you gotta factor in my age. So I'm gonna act my age. I'm 43. I'm gonna act it. You know what I mean? So, you know, some of the name calling that's really uncalled for. But if you're going to address one, you need to address all in that manner, in the way that you address it, because that had me a little confused. I'm not going to lie. But I'm still going to give you the benefit of the doubt and just say you just didn't have all the information. You just ain't really had a chance to really look into it. And I will say this and go. I think you need to care, young NFA, about this in particular, because there's a big agenda at foot, and I really hope you understand that, against our people. And I got to be careful in what I say, because I don't want it to seem biased, because I'm not supporting any of that. Who you say is your people, I'm not supporting any of that. The dirty dog tactics that they use to get Big U behind bars, I couldn't even fix to dial 3 of their numbers. I had to throw my phone away. It's disgusting and deplorable what they did. and how they did it because they were scared. I'm talking about real scared dudes that had an issue with this man, but and instead of addressing that man, they used the police to take him down. There's no way I can support that. Y'all relationship don't know about, they ain't my business. That's between you and them. You know what I'm saying? But I just encourage you to do a little more digging with this. And maybe you'll find with the truth. If that's what you're really seeking, the truth, you will find it. It's out there. The truth is out there. And it's important and it's necessary, and time is of the essence that the people know the truth right now. Because every day that these dudes are able to do what they doing is another day they can trick another brother about their spot and help this bigger agenda get their plan across. I'm telling you, some bigger plan at foot. We got to wake up as a people. If you're new to my channel, man, you made it way this far. Jesus Christ, an hour-long video. I appreciate you. Much appreciated. Do me a favor, though. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment in this video. Please share the video. Hit that notification bell. You will be notified when I drop videos. Man, I just want to say thank you to the entire Stand on the Media family. I apologize for yesterday not being able to drop any content. I feel a little bit under the weather, so it really took me out, man. But I'm back today. I'm gonna try to get some content out today, man, for y'all. I just want to say thank y'all for rocking with me either way. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. We gonna let who we talking about in this, well, one of the people that I am addressing in this video, we're gonna let him take us on up out of here. You know how we do it. Let's go.
But then again, you know how the feds work. We don't care how many chickens or turkeys you pass out. Yeah. We don't care how many book bags you done passed out. What we care about is these wiretaps. We care about these confidential informants. And we care about your actions within the means of the law.
Stand on the Media. Let's get it.